Hey, Chris, it is our last Cyber Unfiltered for the year, and Matt's MIA. Here we go again.
You know what? Unreliable. That's the word of the year for Matthew. Unreliable. And I hope he sees this. I
Oh
hope he
boy.
sees this and I hope he responds to this. And next week, again, I'm gonna bring it back up. Unreliable.
Unreliable. Yep.
Yeah. Much like the Jeeps that he takes off road that break down all the time. Unreliable. I'm gonna get hate for Jeep haters.
Actually, I saw a post that he was looking for a body guy to do something that was out of his realm.
Okay. Maybe it's not the Jeep's fault. Maybe it's just the driver's fault. maybe that's where I need to go with that. Man, end of the year. 2025 has been crazy. Like,
Sure has.
dude, I've been thinking about JLR because, like, for the last 3 months we talked about Jaguar Land Rover, and I've been really thinking about this. It's like, okay, so they're billions of dollars. They're like $2.5-3 billion in the hole on this, right? And that's not even with the fines that are coming out, lost production, stuff like that. I read that by offering extended warranties and stuff like that, they cut their cancellation rate from like 12% to like, I don't know, like 2.5 or 3% or something like that. So
As long as they got the parts for the warranty work.
right. Well, I mean, produce sales because people were canceling cars that couldn't be made, right? So
Right.
their sales up. But it got me thinking. How do you recover that money? Right? $2.5 billion. They're not a high volume sales company, right? Like, it's not a high volume product.
Mm-hmm.
So you're gonna have to recover it somehow. Is it crazy to think that they could slap like a surcharge in every vehicle they sell to recoup the costs? Call it like a security surcharge or something like that?
They could, but also the dealers are probably going to be slapping some other incentives on some other fees on top of it, saying, "Hey, they're in short supply."
I got it. You don't call it a security surcharge, you call it a market adjustment.
Market adjustment. There you go.
Which is everybody's been doing for a long time, and they just hide it inside of that. No, I've been thinking about it, though. Like, how do you recoup that, right? So, like, you have that much loss, you have that much of a problem, and it's kind of climbed. And apparently, they're really reeling from a supplier that went bankrupt well, not bankrupt yet, but they're in bankruptcy. They made some sort of semiconductor component, and it was a tier 3 supplier, and they had to halt their main line, and they were paying thousands of workers like ghost shifts, and they were only going about 10% of speed. So this is still ongoing. They're going to have to recover this money at some point, right? They're not going to be able to withstand that forever. So it's like, okay, so is it like market adjustments? Actually kind of amusing just because I see that all the time. But yeah, I'm just wondering if we're going to start seeing that as more and more companies get hacked and they have this, they need to recoup that money. Are they going to put something like some sort of surcharge or something onto their product and maybe hide it just to recoup the money?
And as a reminder to everybody out there, there's no insurance involved here, right?
Yeah, no, they didn't have cyber insurance. This is 100% being absorbed by the company. So that was early on reported that they didn't have cyber insurance. So we're just a messenger here. But I'm just kind of pondering this. It's just interesting to me that how many more companies can do that?
I'm surprised that they're going to be able to survive from this one. That's a huge loss for anybody. And then how many suppliers actually did go under because of this?
I don't think we've seen the total yet. I think before it was like 6 or 7 had filed for administration, which is essentially bankruptcy. So we'll see where that goes. Are they going to bail them out? Are they going to have to bail them out? Yeah, it'll be interesting. The ICO did pause their fine because they tried to claim it as a nation state, so they gave like a 90-day review. So right now their 45 million pound fine isn't happening. It might eventually, but
fines don't help those businesses that went out because they were the only
that's fair. That's fair
to help them.
Yeah, and it's an interesting lesson to learn. Like we've talked about the supply chain before, and I think that's really the highlight for this year. If you want to pivot a little bit, is the year of the supply chain.
Yeah.
Right. Like that is like the epitome of what an attack can be. Because like you look at this from a macro level, right? Like what is the impact on the entire industry, especially in the UK for this? And it's huge. And then you start thinking like, okay, this could happen here. Um, are companies prepared for this financially? So if you do business with, like we said, one of the big three, or even if it's not in the auto industry, if you're just in an industry where you manufacture something,
Well,
how many customers do you have? First of all, and if you're made, if one of your customers is a high percentage of your revenue, if they just didn't pay a bill for 3 months, what would that look like? Could you survive? Do
cash
you have
reserves.
cash reserves though? Because remember,
Right.
manufacturing is a pretty low margin thing.
Sure.
So, do you have it? Is it time for you to look at your business and diversify it? You know, I'm just asking the question because like this highlights a really major problem, and nobody. I don't know why people aren't talking about this more here. I know it happened in the UK, but to me it doesn't matter because it's like this is something that could happen anywhere. Cyber attacks aren't like
I don't remember
continent
if we
based.
talked about I don't remember if we talked about it here. I was when I was doing the research on JLR, but I ran across some stats around or people that were talking about UPS. They couldn't get UPS as a client because they were going to be more than 30% of their business, and UPS didn't want to be responsible if they decided to cancel that contract.
Okay, first of all, if you're doing a contract with UPS and they're not more than 30% of your business, you better be a pretty large business. Like seriously, 'cause, I mean, obviously it depends on what you're doing with UPS, but like
Well, if I
that's a
was selling
massive
some
organization,
specialty
right?
boxes to you, if a company was selling specialty boxes to UPS and UPS decided to go source them someplace else and it was more than 30% of their business, yeah, it would be a huge impact for that business. And they didn't want to be
Yeah,
responsible for putting a business out.
yeah,
But anyway, speaking of suppliers, supply chain,
yeah.
supply chain, we saw that we saw it domestically here on a much smaller scale with one of our clients where they were a law firm and they got an
Yeah.
email from the county prosecutor. They expected it. Only problem is the county prosecutor was compromised. And
Oops.
oops, it was it was definitely a breached email on both sides. When they got in, they started sending emails to judges and high profile attorneys.
Oh, that
We
sounds
did
fun.
we got brought in. We did the forensic work on it. Figured out that it came from one of the county prosecutor's offices, and shut it down and had to go look at everything that was exfiltrated. Luckily, it was a new associate that really didn't have access to anything yet, but it was pull out the playbook and go.
I mean, yet didn't have access to it yet. That's pretty,
Yeah,
you know. Um, I don't know. We saw Oracle get hit this year too. That was a supply chain. Trying to think of some other ones. Oh, United Natural Foods that caused major disruptions. Like at they had ransomware that caused major disruptions. But like, I don't know. I see this accelerating next year. Um, you're a big enough target. There's a lot of consolidation in a lot of industries, and if one big player gets hit, that's a big time supply problem. Um,
yeah. Well,
it's
it's not necessarily supply chain, but I saw like IoT attacks that Roku was being used as a bot
that's pretty
over
funny.
sometime last year, where the Roku code base got corrupt, got compromised, and they were able to launch attacks through people's TVs.
Like they were using it as a bot farm, or were they were actually launching the attacks? Like,
They were using it as a bot farm.
okay,
How many TVs out there are running Roku OS?
yeah. Oh, that's like a lot of those old routers, right? Like TP-Link and stuff like that have been used in that similar situation, and they're not going to get because people don't replace their stuff at home. So you get millions upon millions of those devices. Yeah, you can launch a pretty good attack. Um, I I
Actually,
think what
actually, wasn't there a new announcement recently about TP-Link getting banned?
I mean, well,
I thought
they're
I
a
saw
Chinese
something
company,
scroll
so I
by on
think
that.
people get a little upset about that. I think the U.S.
Yeah, I'm
government
not
was
sure about that one.
considering it, but I don't think they did it. Um,
So Anyway,
Oh
yeah,
no,
it's been
no,
a crazy.
they are preparing to ban TP-Link allegedly. That's what they're looking at. The federal government. Um, they're saying they're a spying hazard. I mean, they could be potentially, but there's a lot worse things out there right now. Other than that, like with old routers and stuff being used that people just aren't update, can't update or won't update. But I really think like what else? What else about 2025? Supply chain attack, ransomware obviously took off. Oh, you know what? I got it. Just the dwell time seems like it shrunk a lot. It
Yeah.
was like it used to be like maybe weeks, months have come weeks into days. Obviously, if it's a big enough target, months might still be a play. But like it seems like people get hit at record speed. They're in, they're out.
Yep.
They
Um,
double extort them like really quickly.
and with that, it just it is really showing that there is AI being used in these attacks. Now there was that one where there was some data out there where there were some attacks that are 100% AI now for infiltration.
Yeah,
So it's a new world, and like you said, we're going to see supply chains, we're going to see more AI, and what are we going to do?
I wonder what the supply chain thing. And this is a spitball idea. Third party risk management is a thing, right? People just send out questionnaires. When do questionnaires stop and proof becomes the next step, and then the next step after that is real time continuous monitoring? Like you're going to have to be able to prove in real time that the stuff that you say on that checklist is actually valid.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like I've already
we
got
can't be
clients.
we can't be
I've
that
got
far off from that.
I've got clients that are asking their vendors. I back that up. I have a client who has clients that are asked that they're being asked to supply copies of their internal policies. What are your policies? Let me know. Let me see them, and let me know when they're updated. So they want to get deeper into what's going on with protecting their own data.
Well, and that's proof of policy, but like, what about proof of enforcement? What about proof of like?
I think that's going to be the next. I think that's going to be the
Yeah, that's
next
what I'm
step.
saying. Like,
Insurance
yeah,
companies
so
are already we're already gathering that information for the insurance company. So now it's going to be next step. It's going to be part of the contracts that you're signing with clients as to what you're going to supply them to prove that you're.
and one of the things we've seen with insurance companies, they're trying to provide with that is another trend we saw is insurance companies trying to provide continuous monitoring. They want you to get their EDR, like your security tools through them, mainly because they give the insurance company more data points. I'm not sure that's a good method for most companies to think about. Do you really want to give? It's kind of like your car, right? Your car insurance. If you know that you're not doing things quite up to par, like, are you going to get one of those things and put in your car that shows like how you drive? Like, what if how you accelerate and stuff like that? Are you really going to get one of those and risk your insurance going up because you drive a little crazy? Like, why would you just give them full access to all of the data?
Yeah, that's not something that I'd really want to see because, well, okay, so we'll take that one step further. Is now the insurance company going to be responsible for security?
Oh, kind of.
Oh, I got your EDR. You're keeping me secure, right? Well, no, we're just telling you that it happened. And then they've got all the data that they've got all their internal data now
I mean,
to back
I,
everything to deny any claims. Oh well, Steve over here clicked this, did that, and installed this, so we're not recovering it.
I mean, I had a customer that their insurance company offered, to move them to their security platform, and they left me. And 2 weeks later, they had a business email compromise, and the insurance company never had implemented anything on the email side. So, I don't know the whole thing after that, but like, who's responsible for that then? Like, they took it over, they sold it, like, and they didn't get it implemented, and then there's a gap, and so now the insurance, like, if they would have had a big loss, would the insurance company actually paid? because it's technically their responsibility, like you said. Like, so I don't know. I don't think we're far off from having continuous proof that you're doing what you're saying you're going to do. And I think in a supply chain situation, I think you're going to have, if you have a big customer, they're going to demand that you prove what you're doing. And if you don't have a program now, you're not standing that up in like a month. That's not how that
Yeah,
works. So it's good time for the end of the year. Maybe we'll do predictions next time.
maybe.
If Matt shows up, I mean, again,
I-
unreliable.
We'll have to
Dude.
predict when Matt's going to show up, and
He'll be here next week. We'll make sure he's
anyway,
here next week.
let's jump into 2026. Oops, I almost said 25.
I mean, jumping into 26.
I'm jumping into 26.
We're all just 1 year older. Leave you with that. All right.
Oh,
All right. Have a everybody out there, just if you're doing end of the year planning or you're doing the beginning of the year planning, just think about the stuff. Think about your supply chain. Think about that. If you want to talk to us, let us know. If you want to jump on here and just have a conversation, we're down for that too.
and if you know somebody that, if you know somebody else that you think would be good to get on, let us know that too.
Yeah. So, all right. Happy New Year,
my friends.